Welcome back, everybody. It's me, Teri Hunter. It's Sunday, June 21st, 2020. We are in the midst of unbelievable transformational times. Today is technically a solar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse in Cancer. And I believe in the next couple of days, Neptune will be going retrograde, joining practically every other planet in the solar system. And this solar eclipse is at the 0-degree Cancer. So it's really pivotal in that it is hitting all those cardinal points. So from what I've read, from what I've listened to, Neptune being stationary right now is really illuminating and putting a spotlight on where we've been fooling ourselves, where we've been cutting things off, shaving off important things we want to experience or want to feel in a way of feeling at home. And I don't mean this necessarily as, while Cancer represents home and hearth and family, there's many things that make us feel at home. And I think we could talk about Pluto and we could talk about Saturn and we could talk about, and actually Saturn's at the 0-degree Aquarius. So it is also influencing this eclipse. So there's this whole pull between freedom of personal expression, feeling responsible. There is a dynamic of lifting the illusions within what makes us feel at home, what makes us feel cozy and warm. So I would, at least for myself personally, I feel like it's a time of being gentle with yet another layer of evolution, another layer of a deeper truth. I know Mars is going to go into Aries soon. And I love to think of Aries as the truth seeker. So here we have another element coming into play about what's going to be our deepest truth, what's going to make us most happy. And I feel like this is a bit of a recalibration using Neptune's spiritual side to connect with those in our team to help illuminate a light to walk us through our illusions without judgment, without criticism, and looking at it as a tool to move our stories forward. So that's kind of where I'm feeling about this whole idea of what we're swimming through in 2020. I almost feel like resistance is futile. So why not look into the nooks and crannies? Where am I getting in my own way? Where am I a little stubborn in my viewpoint? Or where am I so fearful that I'd rather feel safe in what isn't actually comfortable, but what I know? And I think that's a very Cancer energy. So anyway, that's where I'm going with that. I want to welcome everybody to the show this morning. Hi, Juan. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Small Wildflowers. Hi, Tebow. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Oh, and by the way, before Neptune goes retrograde, we know that there's always that stationary period where the planet has 5 times more oomph than it did in moving in either direction. So I want to put it this way, because with Mercury retrograde, the initial feelings you may have about lifting the rug or looking at your life may, along with the Saturn influence on the eclipse and Pluto and Jupiter, it may have this dip feeling. Like it may feel a little bit like, I don't want to say hopeless, but it may hit in sort of a way that feels a little bit like I've got to go down before I come back up. So again, being gentle with yourself and connecting with spirit, using the higher vibrations of the I just lost my train of thought for a second. Higher vibrations of the Neptune experience. Okay, Shelly, yes, I will draw a Kyle Gray card for the group today. And I kind of think this is sort of for the live tribe, really a little bit and I don't want to say this against the video watchers, but I think when we're coming together today on a summer solstice, on a new moon in Cancer, solar eclipse, we've got Neptune stationary, we've got Pluto and Jupiter just sitting right next to each other, and then we have this really strong influence of that 0 degree hitting those major cardinal points. That's the way I look at it. So I feel like this is a way of directing our energies today, using ourselves as a collective. Jesus said where 3 or more are gathered, the energy is very powerful. So here we are, where we've got 40 people gathered. So let's look and see what Spirit has to say for this, at least with this deck. And then we'll go into our readings. As I'm shuffling the deck, oftentimes when we look to our deeper truth, sometimes we inadvertently look for a dark truth. And what if the truth is not actually dark truth, but rather a light truth? I've lived alone for a long time. I have been single forever and a day. And the deep truth is, I like it. Yes, there are times when I would like to have more companionship. Yes, there are times that I get excited and want to share my day with somebody. But the deeper truth is that I'm a solitary person and I don't mind it. I like it. So maybe there's a resolution or the illusion, the Neptunian illusion is that maybe I should at some age be, having a Libra sun, I should be in partnership. And maybe the illusion is that the partnership is not just with one person, but with a community. So I want to offer you this idea when you're doing that self-reflection, looking deeper into the judgment you may have of that reflection, because maybe that reflection is working for you. Okay, here we go. One card for the group as a whole from the Kyle Gray deck. And it is the Traveler. Move in a new direction. I think this is fascinating because I don't think this is about physical movement. I think this is about spiritual movement. It's about emotional movement. It's about mental movement. It's about moving past judgment. We are seeing transformational times that are, we've gone as a human race through various levels of transformation. And now we're getting down to the real nitty gritty. At least for me, it feels very akin to being able to be our unique colors, our unique ethnicities, our unique hair colors, our unique expression of ourselves. And rather than looking and being more like, why, how are you different than me? I feel like the Traveler is asking us to move in a new direction and see, how are you like me? How are we the same? Because we are all souls inhabiting a human experience, and the soul chooses various dynamics to support that experience. So in this particular lifetime, I've chosen to be a half Armenian, half Scottish, born into a family that had a certain amount of affluence, but then people who were very impoverished in certain ways. And this dynamic helps support my life's path. So I think, while I'm not going to what the book says, the Traveler, I think, is asking us to look into different directions, to look into our lives and to start to seek out the directions that we want and to move towards directions that make us feel at home. And I say that because we have this 0 degree Cancer solar eclipse. New moon, new ideas, new thoughts. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, let's start our readings. We'll go from Pisces, as we do, to Aries. It's just kind of the thing we did. I don't know. I think we've been doing this for almost a year now. Feels like it's been quite some time. So, but I like it. I like going backwards. I like the book's interpretation as well. Part of what my the way that I roll with a new deck is I allow the book and my own intuitive hits. And when I say intuitive hits, there's the things that get to me, because as I pulled that card, I felt very much as if Spirit was saying to open and broaden its meaning because of a summer solstice starting a new season, the halfway point between in 2020. I thought to myself, 2020 reduces down to a 4-year, which is 4 is the builder. We're building a whole new dynamic of how we roll on this planet, how we look at each other, how we interact with each other, and what makes us feel passionate. So this is really hitting me in many different ways. So I encourage you, as you play with these decks, to allow an integration between what the author has interpreted and how these things hit you within your own heart. Okay. All right, here we go. Pisces, rising, moon, sun, and stellium. Hello, Laura H. So nice to see you. I don't think we've seen you before. Zimoitz lady. I don't think I said that right. Zimoitz lady, welcome. Spiritual or Star Spiritual, welcome. Shelly, it's great to see you too. Hope I didn't miss anybody. All right, here we go. And now in Pisces, we have Neptune going retrograde. So that's the ruling planet. And I feel like as I say that, Pisces, it's really about reaching for the spiritual dynamics of what Neptune has to offer. You know, oftentimes we'll think of people who get stuck in masking, in what's the word I want to use? I don't want to use the word addiction, because I don't think everybody, you know, that's influenced by Neptune is always an addict, but there could be this dynamic of wanting to mask more. And I think that as we connect to the more spiritual sides of Neptune, it will actually serve not only all of us, but Pisces in particular, having your ruling planet giving you more opportunities to review and reflect on what makes you most feel at home. Home is not a place, it's a feeling. It's a connection. Okay, here we go. Hi, CJD, welcome, good morning. Hi, Sammy's mom, Sammy. Oh, I bet Medicine Woman cards are beautiful. I love a Native American spin on things. That really resonates with me. Okay, here we go. Pisces, our first angel is Oceana. The second is Shanti. The third is Archangel Raphael. And the final is Crystal. Okay. Now, it's interesting as Oceana comes up, because the first thing I think of is Neptune, right? What does Neptune rule? The oceans. And what is Oceana talking about? Taking action and getting in touch with your deeper truth. What is Neptune calling to us right now? What are the fated events that we are lining up for? Which is to truly live our unique expression, what is truest to our heart, what makes us feel alive, thriving. The human experience is so complex, because when we're stuck in it as humans, we think it, you know, oftentimes it sucks. But from Spirit's point of view, it offers so many opportunities to take what is in the mind and put it into a place that makes you feel. It's that sense of experience is a greater teacher than words. So that's kind of where I'm going. All right, Pisces, Oceana is being joined by the Letting Go card. Shanti's being joined by the King. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the Mystery card. And Crystal's being joined by the Fire Fairy. So this is how I want to put this. And just for the sake of it, for Laura, or I'm sorry, who was it? Oh, Star Spiritual. I don't do Vedic astrology. I'm mostly Western, whole sign, and I go by rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And I say stelliums because when there is a group of planets in one sign or house, it has a tremendous amount of influence on your chart overall. So here we go. Pisces. Oceana is asking you to be brave and to take action to your deeper truth. And I believe that the whale represents our soul's purpose. So we see the whale in the background. We see the light being illuminated by this angel as she comes up through the deep emotions that she must be willing to look at where she's been fooling herself or he's been fooling herself and rise to a deeper truth, because the letting go card, for me, is not about letting anything go. It's the movie Frozen, the first one. It's funny, the song Let It Go. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test limits, to break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. This is what Neptune is offering in its retrograde. It's what many of these aspects are offering us right now, is to look deeper. Yes, Pluto rules scary things, death and rebirth, and really the hidden things. But as the hidden things come into the light, then they can be transformed, because here the king is offering justice. This is not about a male energy. And there's Shanti, the angel of peace. And that peace doesn't come from the outside world for Pisces. It comes from the inside world. There's a oh, I just got chills everywhere. There's a healing being offered by Archangel Raphael. I mean, this will be a physical healing, but to me, I see the illumination of the light over over his head. And then the mystery card is about choice, and it's about choosing peace and justice and not looking to others to necessarily understand what makes you feel peaceful. Because in the final position for our Pisces is Crystal, saying have faith and hope, because there's more on the horizon that you can't see. And then we have the Fire Fairy, and she talks about optimism, about creative action. And I want to say it this way, because we have a roller coaster ride going on in 2020. And each week, the only thing that we have any potential influence over, and I'm not going to use the word control because I don't think that's necessarily true, but influence over, is our own perspective, is sort of seeing things that inflame us and deciding whether or not that's really serving a higher good. Because as the year goes on, there will be people that hold on to the illusions, that refuse to let go of a certain way of operating, and it's going to be harder for them. And those of you that have been working on really digging deep to your truth, this is an opportunity to really rise and take advantage of the changing times and really feel the exhilaration of your own true self. Okay, let's go on to Aquarius. The smartest thing anybody could ever say is that they don't know anything, because everything is always changing. So CJD, you must be a very wise soul on this planet. Thank you for being here and adding your energy. Okay. Oh, I must be missing something funny. All right, here we go, Aquarius. Now we have Saturn at 0 degrees Aquarius that is affecting this solar eclipse. And I kind of can't help but think to myself, in some ways that 0 degree has a naivete. You know, it has no experience yet in that house. So maybe we can have a little bit of naivete about our unique expression and how it might land out there in the world, because Aquarius rules the masses, right? It rules collective thought. Okay. Okay. Tebow, you're so funny. All right, here we go. Aquarius, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And I go in that order because I really believe that the rising is the most influential, and then the moon is our emotions, and our emotions are how we take our actions. So here we go. Our first angel for Aquarius is Indriel. The second is Rosetta. The third is Athena, and the final is Caressa. Okay. Indril is being joined by the Wasp. Rosetta is being joined by the Love card. Athena is being joined by the Truth. And Caressa is being joined by the Lady of the Lake. I have to say this is so interesting to me because the dynamics in the stars feel so much collective, so much as if we as individuals are being asked by the collective, what direction are we going to row? What direction are we going to swim in? And I believe that for my Aquariuses, Spirit is saying to shine your unique light. You know, the most, you know, what is Aquarius, they talk about this alien feel, right? And I feel like up until now that there may have been a stingy energy for Aquarius. And you know, also I want to say about Aquarius is Aquarius moon can be not that emotional. I mean, not reactionary. You know, there's a much more, for me, a much more broad viewpoint from an Aquarius moon. So they don't necessarily react in a way that is emotional. It feels a little bit more in that scientific side of Aquarius. And I feel like when I look at this, that this Wasp is not about Aquarius being angry with themselves, but now sort of being frustrated with the dynamics where we all want to shine our own specific light, our own uniqueness. And it is a time when we can be very inflamed by anybody trying to oppress that. Because I say this because I go into the opportunity or the obstacle and I see the Love card and then I see the child. And when I look at the child, I don't feel like this is about loving your children. I think it's about loving the inner child that wears a Buzz Lightyear costume to go to the market or loves to wear a unicorn helmet because it's cool to be a magical unicorn. I feel like this is your opportunity, is to do what you love, and using the dynamics that are in place right now to have an interior revolution, to be liberated and to express yourself, because there's the Truth card and the angel's advice, and there's Athena saying to Aquarius, it's safe for you to lovingly assert yourself, lovingly assert your individual unique thoughts, ideas, the things you want to birth into the 3D world, because Caressa is offering us a new chapter where new happiness awaits us. And then the angel, the Lady of the Lake is so much about the courage to be my truth. You know, there we see the tumultuous waters that she comes up through the lake. Water represents emotion. This is a very emotionally tumultuous times on this planet. And it's, in some ways, it's our job as loving lights on this earth to be who we are, not to try to be something else anymore. And in doing that, it's an invitation for others to be themselves, and then to look at them. I heard somebody talk about equating this astrological dynamic, this new moon and this Neptune, to a box of crayons, you know, the 64 box of crayons, where there's all these different shades and colors to play with. And sometimes we get used to just one color palette and we like it. And so it's time to experiment with other things and to allow other people the privilege of their own unique color palette. Okay, going on to our Saturn ruled Capricorns. I know a few people who have Capricorn stelliums, and it's been so interesting to watch the transformation through this. Okay. Oh, Kiwi, thank you very much. This is a new top that I got. Hey, Stephen, welcome. I'm a little bit of a Stitch Fix gal. Not that I'm doing any commercials for anything. So I got a box and I got some really cute new tops. Okay, here we go. On to our Capricorns. Again, that's rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Xana. The second is Layla. The third is Merlina. And the final is Daniel. So you think of Capricorn, and the first thing you think of is responsibility, duty, going by the rules, working hard. And I feel like there's a bit of what I'm looking at here is Capricorn going through a transformation where they start thinking about that working hard, and if that's really working them where they want to go. So let's see. Because Xana talks about protection, and then we have the Lady of the Lake asking us to go to our deeper truth, have the courage to go to that deeper truth. Then we have Layla asking us to sit in nature and contemplate the truth of what we want our life to be, the vision we really have for ourselves. Then in the Angel's Advice, we have Merlina being joined by the owl. Well, if this owl isn't representing Neptune right now, I don't know what else is. I'm going to go through this again. Don't you worry. And then we have Daniel. Daniel, the angel of marriage, is very interesting because the focus is not really on the partnership, but what we bring into the partnership in the way of our previous experiences. And then we have the love card. Okay, so here we go, Capricorn. I'm not going to the intimate place of love and partnership right now. I think this is a much bigger prospect here. And not that love and partnership isn't big, but I feel like Capricorn, you're used to doing things, as we said, by the rules. You rule government, authority, that type of thing. I think that now is a time to go and have the courage to your deeper truth. We talked about Neptune going retrograde and asking us to look where we have illusions of responsibility. If I don't do it, nobody else will. That's kind of how it kind of feels to me. And I think that Spirit is asking Capricorn on this very powerful, fated, these eclipses are giving us 6 months influence. We have 3 of them, back to back, which is basically going to culminate over the next 6 months. And I believe those of us that are digging down to the deeper truth in many ways will be rewarded with opportunities and dynamics that will support that. That's what the Lady of the Lake is asking us, to have courage to go to our deeper truth. And then Xana is saying you'll be protected when you go there. And now it's time to really reflect on what is the vision you have for yourself, and what is the vision. Because in the Angel's Advice, Merlina is about confusion and doing research, and the owl is asking us about 2 sides of a coin. What is my deeper truth, and what is the truth I tell myself? What do I think I have to do versus what I want to do? And that's in complete alignment with all of the transformational evolutionary energy that's going on through 2018, 19, and 20, and even into 21. And then as we get deeper into 21, we're going to start to live the higher vibrations of what's breaking away right now. Because for Capricorn, this love card to me and Daniel is about Capricorn getting to a deeper truth of what you feel. Okay, got a lot to say. This eclipse is in Cancer. And Cancer rules home. And I'm not talking about home of family. I'm talking about what makes me feel at home. If I couldn't read about astrology, if I couldn't study spirituality, if those things were stripped away from me, I would never feel like myself. I would never feel at home. So I say this because it's about Capricorn allowing themselves to feel at home. And Daniel talks about the history I'm bringing into the future. So you are being protected as you review what is truly Capricorn's responsibility and what is not. What is true and authentic to what you want to experience and what is not. And then indeed moving yourself first psychologically, giving yourself permission to do what it is you love. Exactly, spiritual gardener, leaving my job for astrology. Now, I want to say this. When I left my job to do this work, I had been doing my job and this work at the same time for quite a few years. I think it was probably 4 or 5 years, technically making money at it. So I had built up a certain momentum that allowed me to be able to slide into doing this work full time. I didn't know it was going to work out that way. I had no safety net at the time except my connection to spirit. So What I did was make a daily ritual of thanking Spirit for bringing to me all the people who would best be served by my gifts and my talents. And by using that phraseology, it allowed me not to compare myself to others. It allowed me to own what my knowledge was and not be the most knowledgeable person in the world. So I think that, and I go into this depth right now because I think this is what Neptune is asking for us. This is what this Cancer solar new moon is asking. This eclipse is asking us, what's your deeper truth? And then allowing yourself to move towards it. First within your heart chakra, and then your heart will then bring ideas and inspirations, which then you can come and put into the 3D world. And in some ways, Capricorn, you're used to seeing a certain way of doing things, and all of that's getting thrown up in the air. So if on some level you can allow love and what's most important to you to be the beacon, then the new structure will find its way that makes Capricorn feel comfortable. I hope that made sense. All right, on to our Sagittariuses. And for those of you that are new, I go backwards. Everybody starts at Aries and goes to Pisces. So I just had to be contrary. I've got Uranus in the 5th house of Leo. So I don't know, small wildflowers. Wasn't it like almost a year ago now that I started going backwards? It feels like I've been doing it forever. So welcome everybody who's new, everybody who's a seasoned professional here on this show. And I wanted to just mention Stephen Stanel. I haven't seen him in a while, so I want to send him a shout out and some love. Hope he's doing well. And I want to send a shout out to Orphan. Haven't seen her for a while either, so I'm going to send a little love to our peeps. Okay, here we go. On to our Sagittarius, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. All right, here we go. Oh, spiritual gardener, that's cool. Do you have any children? I never had children. And one of the astrologers told me that Uranus in the 5th would make me want to just do me and not have kids. And I kind of that resonated with me. All right, here we go. Sagittarius. Our first angel is Opal, speaking of children. And then we have Teresa. And then we have Serafina. And then we have Caressa again. No, it's totally cool. You guys talk over me all you want. I don't care. You can always go watch the video later. This is about, for those of you that are new, I love doing the readings, but this day on Sundays is about community. It's about connecting. It's about being here for the readings and getting the advice, but it's also about supporting each other. So I don't care if you talk. I read afterwards and I enjoy the chats. Okay. Spiritual gardener, me too. Just animals. No children. Just my little, I don't know if you can see Lucky. He's over there. Let's see if I can turn it. Do you see him? He's in the corner over here. Lucky. Oh, you can see he just knocked all the pillows down. That's my baby boy. Okay. Sorry. On to Sagittarius. Okay. This is why I get the thumbs down, because I'm a little bit too chatty. Okay. Joining Opal is the hawk. Joining Teresa is the wealth card. Joining Serafina is the serpent. And joining Caressa is the perception card. All right, Sagittarius. Opal talks about your children being safe in heaven and earth. And I have to say, very rarely do I see this as actual children, because as spiritual gardener, and I know we don't have little children. So my dreams, my aspirations, the things that I want to experience in this world have become my children. My dreams, in many ways, are like my children. And then we have the hawk. The hawk is about signs and omens on the face of this card. And I feel very much for my Sagittarius is that this is about signs and omens today. This isn't about rising above my fears. It's about knowing that the things that you want to experience. Sagittarius rules the ninth house. The ninth house rules the connection to the angelic realm. It rules foreign ideas, foreign people, foreign places. And I feel like there are certain things that Sagittarius may feel foreign to you, that you've yet to experience, they've just been conceptual or dreams or thoughts in your mind. And now is a time when you can anchor those thoughts into an intention to connect with spirit so that they can then start to bring those experiences into your 3D world. Because in the opportunity or the obstacle, I have the wealth card and I have Teresa. And Teresa, for me, can be a card of worry, but she's also on the face of the card, talks about taking care of others and being a little overwhelmed by that dynamic. And then we have the wealth card. For me, this is a harmonious wealth. This is about feeling and thriving in all facets of my body, my emotional body, my spiritual body, my financial body, my family body. Because what I'm feeling is that as Sagittarius allows themselves to move to those higher ideals, to start to really implement those altruistic thoughts and ideas, which are foreign to those of us living on this earth right now. So I feel like that's where the wealth comes in. But my opportunity is to focus a little bit on myself. And I say that because it's important to act as God's agent on earth and care for those things with a bit of gentility as you watch God give you signs and omens. And I say this because in the angel's advice, there is a happy change coming to the family. And again, here we see a child, but I don't think this is about children. There may be some Sagittariuses that are trying to grow their families. But overall, in general, I think this is more about healing. This is about shedding a skin. It's about trusting a bigger picture as I move towards what makes me happy and starting to maybe realize that when I take care of me, I actually am taking care of those that I love around me. Because in the final position is Caressa, saying that we're going through a change that's closing one chapter and it's starting another, but the new chapter is going to bring more happiness. And then we have the perception card. And I really believe that that is about Sagittarius being able to actualize and experience some of the higher ideals of what you have wanted to birth into this world. And I believe wholeheartedly that this ascension of the soul, this not becoming blind to our differences, but embracing them, whatever they are. A few weeks back, somebody got really pissed off at me because they didn't want to accept other people's beliefs. And I'm not asking anyone to accept anything. It's just like you would want someone to allow you to express yourself. It's the same dynamic moving forward. And if people express themselves in ways that piss you off, then don't focus on that. Move into your soul collective. So that's what I want to say for Sagittarius, because again, I want to really emphasize we have Neptune going retrograde. Neptune is a very spiritual planet. It's also the planet of buzzheads. What does Brian Coulter say? Spirits or spirits? So there's that dynamic to it. But overall, I think this is about really reflecting, connecting with spirit, about your higher ideals, and then allowing this sort of, again, we talk about the baton pass. You put an intention out to spirit, and then spirit then gives you a sign and an omen in which direction to go. It could be an inspiration. It could be something you hear. It could be almost anything. All right, let's go on to our Scorpios. Okay. Welcome, Lori Dotson. If you're new to our tribe, thank you so much for joining. I go backwards. I start at Pisces and work my way towards Aries. So that's where we're headed. Sammy's mom, Sammy, it is a polarizing time. It really is. And I don't even know that some of the agents of polarization realize that they are that. So again, our ability to just not focus too much out there, but how do I want to show up in the face of all of this? Who do I want to be? Okay. I believe Venus is going direct around the 25th, but there's so many other planets retrograde right now, and so many are slow moving, that it's really, I mean, there's just no getting around it. You could try sticking your head in the sand, but someone's just going to kick your butt. I'm telling you. So might as well just pony up and do your best to be authentic with yourself. Okay, Scorpio. Bridget is our first angel. The second is Aurora. The third is Archangel Michael, and the final is Vanessa. I have someone in my tribe, my personal tribe, and this person is a Scorpio with Pluto in the Pluto conjunct her sun, and in the 12th house of Scorpio. And it's a very interesting dynamic because it's very powerful in its pull. And as I say that, when I look at Bridget Scorpio, I think that this is about looking deeper, like Pluto asks, but not for the darkness. It's about looking for the light. And I'll show you why. Do you see what she's looking? She's looking for the light. But let's go on. Let me add to it. Bridget is being joined by the harmonious wealth card, wealth. Aurora is being joined by the joy card. Archangel Michael is joined by the serpent, and Vanessa is being joined by the forgiveness card. This could not be more perfect for Scorpio. I want to say it's because Scorpio, you're so passionate and you're so rich in your connection. I mean, it's just, it's so, to me, I love it. To me, it's not overwhelming, but for some people, it could be a little bit overwhelming. But I want to offer it this way because I feel like this is about Scorpio looking again for the light, because that's where the harmonious wealth comes. This is where you start to really own that Plutonian energy at a higher octave, the octave that is really that transformational. Nothing freaks me out because I've seen the darkness and now I know how to focus in on light, because Aurora is saying you are flying high right now. Don't descend, because you will soon inspire others with your example. And this is about joy. And I want to offer it this way, because this whole 2020 theme and this last, since, if you think about it, it is, I don't know the numbers, but Jupiter doesn't meet Pluto all the time. Saturn doesn't meet with Jupiter and Pluto all the time. All of these retrogrades, they don't happen like this. This is truly cuckoo, crazy, transformational times. So why fight it? Why fight it? Because Scorpio, it's about looking for the greatest things in you. It's about focusing in on, 8th house rules, death and rebirth, other people's money, taxes. None of those things can sound that much fun on the surface of them. But digging deeper, because I think there's so much more happening. I think that as you have the courage to be joyful, to stand in a vibration, you're going to shed a skin, because Archangel Michael is asking us to have courage to shed the skin, to shed the old story, to shed the story that maybe I don't win. Maybe the reason I didn't win is because if I would have won that, I would have lost something so much better, because Vanessa is calling you to have faith. And there's the reconciliation card. It's called forgiveness on the face of the card. But for me, forgiveness is best served when I understand the experience. And in understanding the experience, I can extract a tool from it. So I'm not victimized by something that hurt me or a lower vibration. So I feel like this eclipse, this Neptune influence, not to mention all the other retrogrades, has an opportunity for Scorpio to look deeper into how freaking cool you are, how amazing you are. It's like take all the dark judgment off and go down to those deeper transformational. Pluto transformed doesn't judge anything. Doesn't judge anything. It's like, okay, if you want to experience that darkness, then there's something that serves your soul within that experience. And so I feel like this is really a great time for Scorpio to grab on to that transformation and take it up here. Okay, on to our Libras. That's me, Libra Sun here, which is the least influential, I think, of all the dynamics in my chart. I have that Aries rising, Taurus moon. So fun. All right, here we go. I love that, Lori. You know, there are so many people that it's just so interesting to me. I was sitting here yesterday. I apologize for the people, Libras, that have to put up with my stories. But I was sitting here in the house, and all of a sudden I hear this guy screaming his head off, to a point where he was inaudible. His words were inaudible. And I don't know what happened, but there's a little street right here. And he must have somehow felt threatened when he was crossing the street. And he literally screamed his lungs out till his face turned red. I thought he was going to drop dead of a heart attack right in front of me. And then he walked away like nothing happened. Calm as a cucumber. I mean, literally, from the crazy, crazy red face, veins bulging. People are very interesting right now. Very interesting. Don't go towards the crazy. Go the other way. Hello, January Pimpin. Welcome. Welcome to our Sunday morning community. All right, here we go. Yeah, Patricia, maybe. Little Aries. Who knows? I think it just somebody had met, you know, they just reached their limit, and I don't know. I just kept thinking I was glad I knew about the transits, because if I didn't, I would just think this world was just going into an insane asylum. Okay, here we go. Libra. Our first angel is Shanti, the angel of peace. The next is Astera. The third is Xana. And the final is Bridget. Okay. Here we go. Maybe spiritual gardener. He looked like he might have been a little bit on the wolfy side. Oop. Okay, drop the cards. Hold on. Okay. I just think to me, the way he went cuckoo and then he got so calm made me think that he might have that kind of reaction towards a lot of things. I wasn't sure that all his faculties were firing on all cylinders. Okay. Shanti is being joined by the Earth Fairy. Libra, Astera is being joined by the Lady of the Lake. Xana is being joined by the Water Fairy. And Bridget is being joined by the dog. Okay, here we go. All right, I want to just sort of recap a little bit for those of you that are just starting and for Libra. We have Neptune stationary right now, which is making it extremely powerful. In that energy, Neptune is really calling us to see what is the deepest truth of makes us happy, what makes us feel whole, what makes us feel complete. And I say that because it's in direct relation to the eclipse in Cancer. The eclipse in Cancer at 0 degrees, which hits all those the main points, right? It's like the what feels like the foundation of the zodiac circle. So I feel like for Libra, that it's super important for you right now to find peace within yourself. I see the Earth Fairy as, you know, she represents physical health, grounding, and foundations. And I feel like this is about Libra maintaining the peace. Thank you, cardinal signs, Shelley. I knew that answer. It wasn't on my brain. But my point is this, I feel like, and there we go, Earth Fairy. I feel like it's about finding peace within yourself in some respects. It is to look to the outside world right now for fairness, for justice, for, we've got, not only do we have these astrological dynamics and we have people expressing themselves in all sorts of ways. We're in the middle of a presidential election in the United States, which is extremely controversial. And so I feel like what I'm going to go to the final position for Libra and then I'll go back, because Bridget is asking us to look deeper, and there's the dog. The dog is about love. It's about loyalty. It's about sincerity. And I feel basically for Libra, if you want to feel good moving forward, it's about focusing in on this, on love. And I say it this way, maybe tucking in a little bit. It's about, if we look out to the big bad world out there, will we find love out there, or will we find a lot of disruption right now? So as a Libra, I feel like if I'm going to have peace of mind, part of it is my job to be the peace that I want to meet. Thank you very much, Gandhi, for your quote. Because in the opportunity, the obstacle is the Lady of the Lake asking us to have the courage to, and this is about truth. And what is Libra about? Truth and fairness. And in some ways, I feel like Astera is saying to reach for the stars, because you may not see truth and fairness right now on the planet. So part of our job is to see that sometimes disruption is what leads to truth and fairness. Because for Libra, Xana is saying you're being protected emotionally, and it may be just so. I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again. When I was a little girl, I was walking down the street. I must have been in grammar school, maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. And I was holding my dad's hand, and I used to get teased relentlessly by this awful kid. I can still remember his name, but I won't say it. And I said to my dad, I go, it's just not fair, Dad. It's just not fair. And he said, Teri, the world's not fair. And I freaked out. I'm like, that's a choice. People choose not to be fair. So I feel like for Libra, it isn't about looking outside to be fair. It's about being fair to yourself and creating a new foundation, and kind of starting with that little initial ring in the tree, and then thinking that your ripple effect will go out around it. Because you hold balance for the zodiac. You hold diplomacy. So looking deeper for love, seeing love in disruption. Sometimes love is disruptive. Sometimes it says, no, that's not okay. So I think that's it. Let's go on to our Virgos. All right. That would be Virgo rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Give it a good shuffle. On to Virgo. Our first angel is Rochelle. The second is Archangel Michael. The third is Desiree. And the final is Vanessa. Okay, Rochelle is being joined by the B card. Archangel Michael is being joined by the Death card. Desiree is being joined by the Queen. And Vanessa is being joined by the Partnership card. Okay, so here I am. As I'm looking at this and I'm shuffling this deck, I'm thinking to myself, Rochelle says to honor and follow the guidance of your heart. Well, hello, Virgo, ruled by Mercury, ruled by your thoughts, by your mind. And here it is, the B card. The B card is all about, what do I believe? Exactly, Shelley. I perceive, therefore I am. But this is about Virgo perceiving from their heart chakra. You know, there's the tendency to be practical and to be wanting to strategize and make a plan. And there's certain things that, you know, you make plans about it and they don't, they're emotionally based. So you can't really plan it. You can only plan out the basic structure and maybe leave the fine details for as you experience a situation. Because this is where I'm going with this. Because the final position is all about faith and partnership. And I feel like potentially this could be about love partnership, but I don't think so. I think it's about other kinds of partnership. I think it's a partnership with the mind and the heart. And starting to really realize that it is what I believe that is the vibrational ripple effect that starts my physical experience. So often, because we don't read each other's minds, we think that what's going on underneath the hood doesn't really matter as long as nobody outside sees it. But it's really not that way, because and I want to say it this way, because Virgo, in many ways, like the other earth signs, is going to want to take action and move towards their goals. But there is a part of you that is going to learn how to be faith-based and realize that I have to have the courage to be faith-based, because there's some transformation coming that's out of my hands, Virgo. This is the angel's advice. Desiree is saying the conditions aren't favorable right now, but the queen is about reception. So let me kind of round out how I'm seeing this. These are very volatile times. I like to use the word transformational, but it's a little bit rougher than just that. And so following one's heart may be really challenging right now, because how do you follow your heart when the world feels so unheart based, like lack of a heart chakra? And so I feel like what I'm trying to say is that it's about Virgo concentrating on your beliefs. What is your belief about a situation? Am I coming from my heart? Can I use Neptune's retrograde to really look deeper at where there have been illusions in my life, where I have the illusion that I have to push something hard, or I have to work hard, or I have to know where I'm going? Because this is a baton pass between you and spirit, and the power, the laws of attraction and the laws of allowing. There's a certain formula on this planet of manifestation, and that manifestation doesn't judge whether we're a good person or a bad person, but about the focus and the energetic momentum we're putting towards a certain endeavor. So right now, I feel like conditions aren't necessarily favorable for manifestation, but let's say you're a Virgo who really wants to take the mercurial dynamics. You love to write, you love to teach, you love to speak, and yet the conditions aren't quite favorable to move forward that way. So what I think that this time, the solar eclipse is offering us in Cancer, what makes you feel at home? What is the illusions that you're telling yourself? And as you allow those illusions to move away, you can also step into the beautiful stories and in some ways take Neptune's fanciful energy and bring it into this earth. That's where I think I'm going with this. I really think that you're about to see, Virgo, that following your heart and really looking into what do I believe will bring me into partnership with an energy much bigger than I and my little human body realize. I feel like I'm living a pretty blessed life right now, because I'm living my dreams, but I'm not living my dreams because I'm pushing towards them. I'm living my dreams because I'm working in tandem with spirit. And there's a part of me that has to live in an unknowing very often. And that unknowing is all faith-based, that if I don't flip out and go get a job working at the market for $15 an hour, that I'll be okay. But sometimes we can't see the answer, so we jump into some sort of triage mode, and then we get in spirit's way. Okay, here we go. On to our Leos. Oh, Tebow, I'm sorry you lost your signal. Welcome back. All right, here we go. Leo, rising sun, moon, and stellium. Share your tater chips with your mom. Aw. Unless there was only a few left. And she's like, eating too many. My sister ever asked for a sip of my drink, she would drink the whole thing. And then she'd hand me back a glass with one sip left. Okay, here we go. Leo, our first angel is Rosetta. The second is Caressa. The third is Indriel. And the final is Omega. We're seeing Caressa coming. Really, she's marking the end of a chapter, but she's also marking the beginning of more happiness. And so I can't help but see that coming up over and over again. And then it just feels so aligned to what this whole year is about. Okay. Keep dropping cards. Sorry about that, guys. Well, thank you. I don't know how to say those Asian letters. I don't know how to say your name, but I want to thank you for your support. I appreciate that. Okay. Gulf shrimp sounds delicious. Okay. All right. So for our Leos, joining Rosetta is the Love card. Joining Caressa is the Wind Fairy. Joining Indriel is the Movement card. And joining Omega is the Fear card. Very interesting. This, I feel like there's been a running theme for Leo. It's been a stressful year. We all know that. People are dealing with serious issues and serious opportunities for transformation. And I feel like with all this seriousness, we need to have fun. All of us have been in quarantine. So we've been in our homes or in our very small communities. And I feel like, Leo, this is not about children. This is about doing what you love. You represent the 5th house. You represent romance. You represent personal pleasure, creative genius. I feel like, Leo, this is where we're sitting. Continue to follow. We need your light right now. We need your laughter. We need your fun. I feel like we need personal pleasure. I miss going to a restaurant. And I know some restaurants are open, but literally last weekend, there's this restaurant, Mexican restaurant, super popular here in Orange County. And it was crowded and crazy, just like any other summer day. And in the news the next week where, 10 employees had the virus and, whole place got shut down all over again. I feel like the reason I'm saying this is because we need our Leos to lead us back to fun. And I feel like that Love card is really about standing, because I'm going to go here. Here we have in the final position, Omega and the Fear card. And here the Fear card is false evidence appearing real. And I'm not talking about the dynamics with the virus. I'm talking about that we can find fun and enjoyment and pleasure anywhere. It depends where we're looking. And it's our job in some ways to realize and to push further towards the things that bring us joy. I feel like I'm a little choppy right now. Let me go back to opportunity or obstacle, because this Caressa talks about the end of a chapter. And this chapter, to me, it feels a little bit like Leo has been in their head a little bit. Leo has spent most of 2020 for me feeling like they were supposed to be something different for other people. I don't know why. I felt like Leo was suddenly aware that they're the sun and that the sun might eclipse everybody. So they've been trying to sort of be more cooperative. But I feel like, whoa, Leos, we need your sun to shine. We want you to get out of your head and help bring us back to some of our fun. Because here in the angel's advice is Indriel saying, we need you to shine your light on this planet. And there's the Movement card. And when I say fun, I'm talking about, that belly laugh that makes you tinkle in your pants. I'm talking about silliness of children, I feel like we're all struggling. This transformation of self-expression, of moving towards the the Aquarian age and more acceptance. While it's very important, it's so serious. And I feel like Leo, Spirit is saying, please take us out of the darkness, bring us back into some fun. Let's laugh, let's play some music, let's sing out loud, even if you don't sound good. That's what I feel like. So I want to offer that for Leo. And I want to say this too, because Neptune, again, I'm going to go back to Neptune. Neptune is stationary. You may feel a little bit like partying a little too much. So you might want to just be mindful of that, because it could be one of these days or one of these weeks for Leo. Because as Neptune moves backwards, it's spirits or spirits. So a little bit mindful there. But overall, I think this is about taking the rest of the zodiac with you and teaching us and reminding us of the value of fun and personal pleasure. All right, let's go on to our Cancers. Leah, that's terrible that someone should say that. I would only imagine that someone who said that no one would ever love you is somebody who is having trouble feeling loved. And that's hard to connect with when somebody's pushing that energy at you. All right, here we go. We are going on to our Cancers. This is your solar eclipse. This is at 0 degrees Cancer. And I want to say it this way because that 0 degree to me is like the baby coming into the house. It's a new pure energy of whatever that 0 degree is of the house. So I really want to emphasize what makes you feel at home. It's not about the things and the places and the people per se. It might be something bigger. So it's about taking Neptune and digging deeper and deeper into what you think makes you feel at home and what actually makes you feel at home. Because it may not be a place. It may be a dynamic. I feel at home on Sunday mornings with this group. I feel at home when I'm being creative and producing something, a craft of some kind. So that's where I'm going with this. All right, here we go, Cancers. Because again, if you think about, well, I don't know about again, but if I think about Cancer energy and the mother archetype, that's a lot of giving out, And I really feel like this is about giving back to yourself again, because as you feel yourself, you're better able to help others feel themselves. Okay. Hi, Brianna. Good to see you. Welcome, Ruth. I said hi to say JD. Okay. Yeah, these eclipses, they really aren't easy because they're just, each one of these situations, each one of these retrogrades has its own challenges in and of itself as an individual dynamic. And then you add them all together. I mean, what, 7 planets are retrograde now? Neptune's going retrograde, Mercury's retrograde, Venus is retrograde, Pluto's retrograde, Jupiter's retrograde, Saturn's retrograde. Did I miss something? Something else is retrograde too, I think. Anyway, here we go. All right, for our Cancers, our first angel is Archangel Michael. The second is Opal. The third is Akasha. And the final is Isabella. All right. Hello, Yvonne. Welcome. So for those of you that may be new to the show, I go backwards. I start at Pisces and work my way towards Aries. We are now on Cancer. And again, this is a Cancer solar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse. It's really one of the main themes of this eclipse is personal freedom versus responsibility. So this is interesting. Okay, Archangel Michael and the Eagle are joined together. Opal and the Forgiveness card. Akasha and the Deer. And then the Serpent and Isabella. All right, this is what I want to say. The eagle represents spirit integrity and the connection to the angelic realm. And then there is Archangel Michael, the great protector, asking us to have courage to move towards what is authentic to us. You know, we as humans have such a strong pull to be part of a pack, and yet at the same time we want to be accepted for our individual wants and needs. And I feel like this is so important for Cancer to really look and to use these astrological dynamics to review what is authentic to you, because I feel like there's a part of Cancer that is feeling like, if I'm not valuable to you, then I have no value. And that's not true. I think that you have inherent value. And as you recognize that, that will help uh, the ripple effect going out. Because here I have Opal in the opportunity, the obstacle, and I have the forgiveness card. So those of you that are familiar with me know that this is really about reconciliation. It's about reconciling an experience so that I can extract a tool from it and then move forward towards, and this is about what Cancer wants as a individual. This is not really about children right now. I know it would appear to be, Cancer cares and is maternal, but I think this is about putting the mask on yourself, because in doing so, you have an opportunity to actually teach others. It's a very valuable tool to not be overly self-sacrificing, because overly self-sacrificing becomes erosive. It becomes like Saturn, and it dries up that love. And this is where the angels are telling you that you're a teacher, and that this is about being gentle and diplomatic as you yourself go through a metamorphosis of finding value in taking care of yourself. And in doing so, that takes care of home and hearth, the things that you love. Because yes, Isabella says the timing is right on for this venture, for this new dynamic. And then the serpent is about shedding new skin. It's about healing. It's about reconciliation. So I want to say it this way. I feel like for my Cancers, this is an opportunity to truly look at what makes you happy, what in the home of your heart, what illusions of obligation are here. I feel like there is an unsaid something where Cancer may feel like, I need to do this. If I don't do this, if I don't perform this for my family, then there's going to be a problem. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that's something that you have been taught. It's a conditional, experiential dynamic. And now as you stretch yourself, because having the courage is best served by connecting to spirit, by saying, Spirit, thank you for me taking care of me, and for knowing that my children will be taken care of while I take an hour to go work out in the garage, or I take an hour to go into the bathroom and have a nice soak in a tub and put on some headphones. I feel like this is about a gentleness and a diplomacy as you learn the wisdom of self-care, Cancer. That's where I'm going with this. And in doing so, I want to offer it this way too. When we give out of balance, we inadvertently give obligation to the other person. We don't realize it, but somehow we're sending a subliminal message that says, I do this for you, and I do this for you, and I do this for you. What do I get back? So when we take care of ourselves, when we start to really do that self-care, then we are sending the message that I give to you freely of love, and you don't have to give back to me, because I'm healthy and I know how to give back to myself. Okay. All right, here we go, Gemini. On to our Geminis. Yes, I believe so too. The Cancers do carry a lot of responsibility. Almost a little bit like Capricorn, where Capricorn carries responsibility sort of in a governmental way. I believe that Cancer does it in that home way. You know, if I don't get it done, it won't get done. And that's kind of the draining aspect of the Cancer energy for me. Okay, here we go. And as far as the sound goes, right now my computer is indicating everything's working. My microphone is bouncing back and forth as I talk, so I'm pretty sure it's all good. Okay. Here we go. Gemini, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Yvonne. The second is Layla. The third is Ray. And the final is Rosetta. Okay. All right, Gemini. Joining Yvonne is the Truth card. Joining Layla is the Hawk. Joining Ray is the Lady of the Lake. And joining Rosetta is the Risk card. Okay, this is a little bit outside the box for our Geminis because Gemini is definitely a thinking sign ruled by Mercury. And I want to say it this way because obviously we have a Mercury retrograde along with everybody else going on right now. But I feel like this is, Yvonne for me, guys, has always been a card of vulnerability. It's about being, I never had children. I had cats for many, many years. And whenever I was stressed out, I would always dream about my cats. And nothing bad would ever happen, but they would always be lost. They would be elusive. And I would have to seek them out in order to feel safe. I had to chase them. And there's the Truth card. I feel like for Gemini, don't chase your truth. Own it. And I want to say it this way because that truth is not about logic. It's not about anything that you can use your mind to assimilate or to assess the viability of. Only your heart. Because Layla talks about spending time in nature to connect with spirit, and here's the signs and the omens. And oftentimes I'll say to rise above my fears, but I disagree with that. This week, I think there are signs and omens coming to Gemini that your vulnerability to your deeper truth is not lost. It's not, you're actually probably a lot closer to what you want to experience than you realize because the angels are encouraging you to continue to keep your connection with them, that your power lies. This is your power chakra, the yellow. The green is your heart, and the blue is your throat. And it comes your connection to spirit while you walk through these tumultuous emotional uncertainty. But your truth must remain the high priority. And if you continue to watch, spirit will give you signs and omens that you are slowly but surely moving in the right direction of that. Because in the final position, spirit is asking you to risk believing like a child and the naivete of a child. A child believes that when they get in the car and mom and dad say we'll be at Disneyland, they believe they'll get there. They never doubt the road. They don't doubt the stops along the way or how many times they have to go to the bathroom. They know they're going to get there. Spirit is like your parent. And for Gemini, you will drive yourself a little batty if you try to continue to see where the viability of your dreams is. Because part of that viability will come through you displaying faith that then becomes anchored in the 3D experience, which becomes something more material. Your faith becomes more material. That's how I want to put it. But it's through a series of situations, a series of experiences that shows you that as I sit in the unknown, more conceptually attached and believing in what it is I want to, like a relationship. Let's say you want to get married and have kids and have, you know, the white picket fence and the 1.2 acres of land and the garden. And maybe you live in a city right now in a little dark apartment and you can't see it and you've been on match.com so many times you can't even see straight. And so you're like, it'll never happen. That's not true. It might happen. It can happen. But your willingness to go to the deeper truth, to get down beneath what Neptune is asking you through the illusions, The illusions are, I can only manifest so much. I've only got so much of this. There's only so many men in the world, or I've aged out. Christine, I want to comment. You said you doubted your parents. I actually doubted my parents too. But I want to put it this way. Children have a naivete. They believe in magic. They believe in the unseen. And that's part of what Gemini's bit of their challenge right now is to believe in something that is more conceptual than it is in the 3D world, because it's about to start to manifest itself. And as you see it come into the 3D world, part of your job is to stay in that faith-based place as it continues to solidify into your earthly experience. Okay, on to Taurus. And then we go to, oh my goodness, I didn't plug my computer in. Hold on, let me plug the battery in. It's getting low. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Okay, I'm back. I usually plug the battery in. I didn't do that. Okay, on to Taurus. Oh, Gaia. You know, sometimes it's hard when the world is in such a, you know, we see things and we just get caught up in this. I don't even know how to describe it right now, but I want to offer it this way, because when you feel that little bit of hope, then capitalize on it and say, Spirit, okay, now help anchor that hope into faith. You know, pull me into a situation that's unmistakable. And they can do that for you. They really can. All right, here we go. You know what's funny, Jules, is I haven't actually had a dream about, I'm wondering, since I've had Lucky, I don't know if I've had any of those dreams where I've lost and I'm looking for him. I think maybe one time. And ever since I've had Lucky is when I've been most authentic to my own personal dreams. When I first got Lucky, I was working for a job, and I used to drive like 30 minutes inland, and then I'd drive back from at lunch so I could walk the dog and pee him and then get back to work, because we had like a ridiculous 2-hour break or something in the middle of the day. And every day for 2 years, I would walk him pissed off, saying, you know what, pretty soon I'm going to be able to walk you whenever I want. And I didn't know that through unforeseen circumstances, I would leave my job voluntarily to then begin being Teri, who you guys know on Sunday morning. And it was about being brave. It was about being scared. It was about connecting to spirit. And it was constantly thanking them for evidence that I was moving in the right direction. So if you're scared and if you're grasping for hope, then thank them and demand from them evidence that you're moving in the right direction. And then ease will start to come. People will call you out of nowhere. Even Martina knows that she saw one of those weird things happen in a time for her when she thought she was in a bit of a gray place. And then through Facebook, Spirit brought an opportunity to move her story forward. I don't know if she's still in the room, but I think she knows what I'm talking about. So oftentimes you're going to have to display that faith before you get the evidence. That's the way it goes. All right, here we go. Taurus, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Hello, Melidama. All right, for our Tauruses, first we have Maya, then we have Akasha, then we have Layla, and then we have Fiona. Oops. Hello, Phoenix AJS Rabbit 88. Welcome to our show. Welcome to our community. All right. For Taurus, we have the goblin joining Maya. We have Akasha being joined by the spider. We have Layla being joined by the swan. And we have Fiona being joined by the forgiveness card. Okay. I don't know if I told all you guys, but Uranus is sitting on my natal Taurus moon right now at 9 degrees. And, you know, I was a little nervous about it, but I have to say, so far, so good. I don't know. Because I want to offer it this way for Taurus. I don't know if I think this ego card is really about an active ego issue as much as I feel like Maya talks about schooling and education, and the Goblin talks about the wounded human ego. And here we have Neptune stationary, about to go retrograde, asking us to dig beneath the illusions, the stories we tell ourselves, and to get deeper into the truth. And I feel like for Taurus, myself included, how many times am I participating in my own ego being bruised? How many times do I walk into a situation where I know how the other person shows up? And this is kind of an example I want to use. I don't like to be late. I'm kind of like, you know, I try to be on time. When I've given someone a commitment that I'm going to be there at 11, if it's 11:01, I'm already starting to have anxiety. So when somebody tells me that they're going to be somewhere, I expect them to be reasonable in their time. And I have a real issue if they don't. And if they do it repeatedly, I got a real issue with it. Now, where I'm going with this is Maya is asking me to look where I'm participating in my own ego nonsense. So let's say I invite somebody over and I know they're a little late, Larry, and I invite them to be there at 1 o'clock and I start getting annoyed at 1:15. No, Taurus, no. This is about learning, because this is Akasha, the teacher, okay? And Maya is also about energetic learning, about how to be in relationships without, I want to say this lovingly and gently, but sometimes it's almost as if in my personal history, I have known people's habits and inadvertently set them up to fail by expecting them to be something they're not. So if you know somebody's always late and you can't expect them to be on time. So this is where I feel like we are being offered an opportunity. Again, I'm going to go back to Neptune, lifting the illusion. The illusion is that I'm victimized by this. The illusion is that if I pay attention to what's happening over here, then I can recalibrate so that I don't put either one of us in a situation to feel our ego be bruised. Because Layla in the angel's advice is offering transformation. And again, this is about reflection. And I don't think this is necessarily about reflecting with spirit right now, as much as it's trying to reflect on your own transformation so that you can learn from your situation, so that you can be happier. When I this is going to sound kind of funny, but I told you I have this time issue, right? And there are certain people, and I will name them because I don't want them to know, but if I want them to show up at 2 o'clock, I invite them over at 1:30. It's about getting smarter instead of annoying yourself, because in the final position is Fiona saying, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving. And then here's the reconciliation card in the form of the forgiveness card. So what I want to say for Taurus is, instead of being stubborn and wanting it, you know, I can say it, I'm a Taurus moon, so I feel like it's fair. I can be very stubborn. Okay, but now I'm going to be smart. Instead of setting people up for failure, I'm going to start to look at the landscape of who they are. And I'm not saying that I'm giving my power away. It's just saying that I'm trying to make it work for both of us. That's what I'm trying to say. So I feel like for Taurus, here we have this eclipse in Cancer asking us what makes us feel at home. I certainly don't feel at home when someone squanders my time. So rather than being annoyed at them for that, I'm going to pay attention to their habits and not set myself up to be hurt by their bad habits. That's where I'm going with that. Now I'm on to Aries. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. We have Mars going into Aries. Yay! I guess for me, that's a good thing with my Aries rising. I'm looking forward to a little more motivation, taking things a little bit, getting some things done. So Here we go. Whoops. Oh, CJD, that's so funny. Your family says they're going to tell you the wrong time for your wedding, so you're there on time. Don't scare a bride like that, or a groom like that. That's not, that would be scary. Okay. Okay. Here we go. We have any Seinfeld references here, guys, in the chat? I'll tell you, I think, the only way I'll be late to my own wedding is if my walker won't move. I'm going to need to get some wheels on my walker, because by the time I get married, I'm just going to be an old lady, if it even happens. All right, here we go. Aries, we have Oceana. It's so funny. We started off with Oceana with Pisces. Then we have Maya. Then we have Ray. And then we have Archangel Gabriel. Okay, here we go. All right, Oceana is being joined by the Water Fairy. Maya's being joined by the Fire Fairy. Ray's being joined by the Butterfly. And Archangel Gabriel's being joined by the Novice. All right, here we go. Here we have Oceana again, and I say again because I'm referencing Pisces, but Oceana for me is about really swimming through emotional waters. She is in the light. She is coming to the surface. There's a whale in the background. The whale to me represents the soul's journey, the soul's yearnings. And then we have the Water Fairy. So this really is kind of wild for Aries, because there's a lot of emotion attached to this. Now, let me put it this way. Aries is the warrior. Aries is a spiritual warrior. Aries is a truth seeker. And this is a dynamic right now on this earth plane where people are seeking a deeper truth, a truth of their self-expression, that the soul be seen rather than just the physical appearance, rather than my white skin and my curly blonde hair. So I feel like for Aries, there could be this potential of wanting to take action in some ways to help surface the truth, the equality, the diplomacy. I know that doesn't sound right for Aries, but I have this conjunction between between my sun and my Mars, and it's in Libra. And I interpret that, for me personally, knowing myself, as the king and the general. And so there's a part of me that has to know that as a good Aries rising, to be emotive in the way that I look at things, to remember that it's not just about taking action, but how that action lands on others. Because I feel like for my Aries, Maya's about schooling and education. And then we have the Fire Fairy. And I'm really kind of going to this idea of Mars being a fire sign, or Aries being a fire sign, Mars being action oriented, and learning something about how when Aries is inspired, it's like, whoosh, I just want to go make it happen. And there's something about the journey. There's something about the emotions that come along the journey that I think are really important for Aries to realize. And I want to say this for X1. Sometimes Aries can be blunt and bowl over those around them. But I think that's part of what their opportunity for transformation is coming. I think that's what Neptune has to offer us. It's what this Cancerian new solar eclipse has to offer us, because it's about being able to combine the emotions, and not in a way that I kind of want to put it this way. I think that Aries might miss something sometimes in their willingness to take action. There's highs and lows and inspirations and empowerments to be had in an emotional dynamic as we move forward. And I say that because I feel a blossoming coming. And while I will normally talk about Ray being in a meditative state, I feel like this is about um, Aries recalibrating their power, recalibrating their fire, recalibrating how I use my sword of truth, and doing that from a more emotive place, because Archangel Gabriel talks about communications and there's an unstable new beginning. And the way I'm interpreting this is that Aries has an opportunity to learn how to communicate from an emotional place, not necessarily their own emotions, but the emotions of the pardon me, the emotions of the party that they're talking to, the emotions of the other person, so that we have a more viable exchange of ideas, of concepts, of principles, of, I guess I'm going, because we've got, I can go back to Pluto and Saturn, and I can go back to Jupiter and that whole retrograde party. But then I want to go back to Neptune, and I want to go back to the spiritual aspects of it. And I want to go back to the the idea that if Neptune rules spirits that go like this, then what are we masking, right? So as an Aries, as I'm more aware of the emotions involved, not just getting the task done, not just getting something accomplished, not just blowing through the scene, but rather learning from how I use my fire, offering me an opportunity to blossom as I become more aware of my power and I use my heart chakra more when I'm communicating. And while a new dynamic for me, meaning Aries, it is an opportunity to in some ways be more effective moving forward. Each one of us in our individual, dynamics within our astrological chart, and then the things that we've experienced here on the planet, we'll take those things and we'll stack them up as if they are not fluid or as if they are not mutable. Everything is mutable in some respects, because I believe that the natal chart is the platform, the syllabus, the intention for the soul. It's not set in stone, because if it was set in stone, we wouldn't need multiple lives. We'd get it done in one and we'd be out of here, on to other things. But because of the idea of choice, and how do I want to use my inspirations? How do I want to use my fire? How do I want to use my clear sightedness? Because sometimes, we know emotions are watery, they fuzz things up. And right now, I feel like Aries has an opportunity to allow other people their process. And even though you may know what their process and how they're going to conclude is going to turn out, it's time to sort of allow them that expression, and kind of sitting back a little bit and letting somebody else feel empowered by your presence and your ears, and you're willing to listen with all of your strength. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much it for this week. I want to say this year, just batten down the hatches, wear a seatbelt, be flexible as we ebb and we flow, and we see more and more layers be peeled back to our authentic truth. And I want to thank you all for joining me here on Sundays. I feel like this really means the most. This community, you coming here, you connecting with each other, talking about whatever you're talking about in the chat, whether it be food or TV shows or whatever the latest conversation was. I know that you get what you need out of this Sunday morning. So if it's only community, it doesn't have anything to do with the readings, that's all good with me, guys. So I'll be back next Sunday before we have another eclipse a week later. So we're in the middle of it. So I want to thank you all for being here. I want to send out tons of love to you on this summer solstice, on the beginning of this season of fun and light. And I want to send peace and joy to you all. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Peace out.